Hello there my fellow holotable heroes and welcome to another SWGOH video. Now hate it or love it, 3v3 is coming back to our holotables in the form of Grand Arena Championship Season 20. As always, I've done a video showing you the feats guide, how to get all those feats done. There'll be a link in the description below to that video. If you're interested, go and check it out. In this one, I really want to go through the teams that I'm planning to use on defense and offense. Obviously, depending on the feats, depending on the opponent, I might slightly adjust these. But this is what I'll show in today's video, just kind of the baseline that I'll be starting off with every round going in. So let's just start first with the defensive squads that I have planned. What I like to do is create 4 separatist squads because we do have 4. While they're maybe not amazing leaders, just like 4 annoying leaders here with separatists that they're sure to, snipe a banner or 2. So we got General Grievous, we got Dooku, Newt Gunray, and Pogo. So let's just start with Griffith Squad. Now from my testing, especially in 3v3, Grievous is not all that scary, and it doesn't really matter who you put next to him there. It'll work pretty much similar way. So that's what I've done. I put the HK there and Magna Guard, and Grievous will do what Grievous does. They're both droids, so you will kind of have to burn for these guys probably first before you go after Grievous, unless you use Jedi Revan. If you do use Jedi Revan against this, I'm happy. And obviously HK, he's got an AoE as well in there. He's got some anti-Jedi thing going on as well. So hopefully he can snap a banner or 2. And obviously I've got Magna Guard in there for the pre-taunt and also to hide General Grievous in stealth. Now Dooku wise, the team here is kind of like trying to confuse the opponent, like, okay, who do I go first? Like if I leave Dooku, let him take a turn, he will go in stealth, and then the only person you can go after is Nest. Nest gets all that bonus protection, counter attacks and things like that, and then Droideka can unload a big hit on you. If you go after Nest, then Count, Dooku and Droideka go after you. If you go after Dooku first, then again Droideka can go into his damage immunity. So it's kind of sort of a team to kind of a little bit hopefully confuse the opponent. And Relic 7 Droideka, he can put some big hits on characters out there. Again, just a slightly annoying team with counterattacks, assists and things like that. Moving on, we got Newt Gunray team, and Newt, that's why I decided to use B1 and B2 with Newt, because I could use B1 and B2 with Grievous, but to be honest, in 3v3, if you have Grievous with just any 2 droids, or B1 and B2 is not any harder to take out. So I'd rather save B1 and B2 for my Newt Gunray team. And this team in every season would get me a couple of holds, just because once Extortion gets going in 3v3, they have so much speed. These guys keep healing up and things like that. So it's definitely a team that is sure to snipe some banners from the opponent. And then finally we got a Pogo team here. Now my Geos, apart from Geobrood, are not relicked. So I'm not using Geos really for anything, so I can afford to put my Geobrood here for obviously the pre-taunt there. We'll also be getting assists because of him. And why Pog Leadership? Because Pog Leadership will help boost offense on your guys. He can put offense up and things like that. And hopefully Django there with Relic can do a nice big hit and snipe some banners away. So this is kind of my separatist zone really that I usually use just to snap some banners away. Up next, we got General Hux with Sith Trooper and First Order Stormtrooper. Now, this team obviously can be annoying because of Hux in there. If you go in with like Ray Jedi training or something like that, they won't be able to gain bonus turn meter with Hux. We got here counter attacks, we got assists. So definitely this team is there as well, formed up in a way that hopefully can snipe some banners away from you. So you have to take a Sith Trooper first. We got a tank there with First Order Stormtrooper. He can counterattack himself. He can call somebody to an assist. I'm not saying this is a top tier team, but in 3v3, I never really use Hux with my Supreme the Kylo Ren and Sith Trooper as well. So just a nice team there that can snipe a couple of banners away from my opponent. So moving up next, what I like to do is put my Darth Revan on defense as well. Now actually what I started doing, I remodded my Malak and Revan in such a way that Malak will be faster than Revan. So let me show you the speeds here on Revan. So he's at 312. My Basti there, she's at 300. And finally Malak there, he's at 326. So if you do put Darth Revan on defense in Grand Arena, you do have to make sure to make Malak faster than Revan, so they can't, you know, beat you easily with Vader in there, because then you go in, usually you would go in with Vader and a pre-taunt, and the pre-taunt would take the fear from Revan. But in this case, Malak will go ahead, dispel the pre-taunt, put a shock on them, and then Revan can go ahead, apply fear on everybody. So that's the general idea. Even in 5v5, again, if you do put Darth Revan on defense, just remod them in such a way that Malak will go first and Revan will go second. This will just make it a little bit harder for those Vader counters to roll over you. Up next, now Treya is a very versatile team for offense, but I just kind of start leaning towards putting her on defense, especially in 3v3, because on offense there is no way, you, apart from Sign, really there to recover some banners. Now in 5v5 obviously you can bring in Throne for some extra banner protection recovery, but in 3v3, Civ 3 up, that's what they are, and you know, most cases you'll be looking at 50 for 1 banners. So I'm trying to keep those teams that can't really regenerate much protection for defense, so then on offense I have ability to be more efficient. And still, you know, Treya there, it's not something people often see on defense, so they might not know how exactly to deal with it. They will either overkill it, or they might go in a little bit, you know, underestimating it. And because of Treya's leadership, even if you go in with the Jedi Revan, it will be hard to get max banners, because all attacks out of turn, they'll be losing max health. Definitely, if you do have, you know, Civ 3 or Relic Tab, I think they're a solid team to put on defense. And of course, CLS, 3PO and Chewie, it's pretty much staple defense here in 3v3. It's what everybody put on defense. I'm putting it as well on defense, why not? Because again, these guys can do some damage on offense as well, but I just like to put them on defense, because as you will see, I always keep all my Galactic Legends for offense, because I just like to play the efficiency battles instead of, you know, hard defense, because at the end of the day you can go hard on defense, but then you will not get so many banners, and you will need more wins overall to reach Kyber. With me playing efficiently, from my experience, you only really need to win 7 rounds of Grand Arena out of 12, and if you're getting all the feeds, that's all what you need to really to hit Kyber. So in my opinion, I prefer to play high efficiency game, and because I keep all my GLs for offense, I do have to put some harder teams on defense, like Darth Revan, like CLS, and as well as you can see John Skywalker also. Just, you know, those best non-Galactic Legend defensive teams I like to put there, just to make sure that my opponent doesn't completely run over my defense. So yeah, moving up next, John Skywalker, I'm putting 5s and Echo in there. Obviously Rex might be a good choice, but the reason why I put these two guys, because Echo and 5s have a nice little bit of synergy there as well. When 5s is not taunting, Echo's got extra defense, and when 5s is taunting, then Echo's got extra offense. Echo will be assisting and things like that, and John Skywalker will do what he does in 3v3 anyways. So, and it also allows me then to save Rex for offense, because, you know, when you go up against some team that has somebody very tanky you can't take out, obviously that aerial advantage can come in handy on offense as well. So this is what I'm putting there on defense. Now moving on, I've got Commander Ahsoka Tano here. She's only gear 9. She needs so much car attacks. Maybe she'll be gear 10 by the time Grand Arena season starts. I'm not sure really. But the whole general idea here, unfortunately, you know, if my cat would be Relic, this would be a much better team. But in this case, for these Padme teams, what you would normally do, you would go after Anakin, right, and get him out. But, you know, from Commander Ahsoka bonuses, what will happen is, you know, Anakin, everybody will get plus 50% health, plus 50% defense. So, you know, you will really struggle maybe to burn through Anakin that easily. And then while you're busy with him, hopefully, you know, Ahsoka can get her Force Leap out. I'm not sure. I don't know how this will play out really. But if you go after Commander Ahsoka first, you will obviously trigger their bonus turn from Anakin. He can do AoE and start snipe some banners away. In 5v5, actually, I ran this like a full Padme team with Commander Ahsoka Tano gear 9. Actually, she held 2 battles on defense. So, you know, it's a new character. Maybe people don't know exactly how to play it. So I'm hoping, you know, we can do some good work on defense. Because a lot of the times people, you know, they're Padme, they could maybe just solo with Malak and things like that. But obviously, I'm hoping with Commander Ahsoka there, that it will make Malak's solo a little bit harder, because while Malak is, you know, busy going after Padme Anakin, Commander Ahsoka is slowly building up towards her force leap, and maybe if she gets it out, she will one-shot Malak and that solo would fail. That's all in theory. I have no idea how it will work in practice. Moving up next is kind of the leftover Padme team here. Now this team, you know, doesn't really have a whole lot of firepower here. It's just kind of really designed to maybe time out or stall you out if you don't go in with enough firepower, because of all the healing and extra defense you get from Kenobi's lead as well as health. And Ahsoka there is a little bit for, you know, assists and things like that. And also with Kenobi's lead, whenever you use healing ability, everybody get called to assist. So both when Barriss and Ahsoka, they do their special heal ability, everybody get called to assist. So, you know, just a little bit of an annoying team there really to deal with, but nothing too scary. Now Maul, I like to put Maul here on defense, and this is because it can snipe some banners away, because once you do have Zeta on his leadership, your guys will be gaining 20% turn meter in the beginning of the battle. And why is that important? Because if you look at Sidious, he's naturally quite a fast character, so it doesn't take a lot, there you go, to get his speed to 280 just by adding 100 speed mod set on him, which is, you know, nothing too crazy. Plus extra 20% meter to start the battle, he's essentially going to be, you know, like 340 speed or something like that to begin with, so it'll be very hard for my opponent to go before him, and he will just go to his AoE, and, you know, there immediately, if my opponent doesn't come with a team that's got protection recovery, they will straight away be only able to get 51 banners just by Sidious doing his AoE, and then Marauder as well. You know, he can do some big hit with his special, and then even if Maul gets a turn, another AoE there. So this team by no means is not going to stop anybody, but if it can get 51 banners, I'll take it. However, in the upcoming Season 20, we have Darth Maul themes, so a lot of feats will involve Sidious, Maul. So for those situations, I will obviously use this. I will keep these guys for offense, and in place of them, I'll probably be putting Night Sisters on defense or something like that. But for now, as a baseline, they are there as a defensive team to snipe some banners away. Up next, we got Finn and Resistance Heroes. Now this team, I mean, it doesn't really hold on defense much. Usually Troopers will just run over these, but it's just how it is. Like Troopers these days, they will run over many teams. So, you know, you can only use them maybe against here, but then if I put Night Sisters, well, you don't have your Troopers to use against Night Sisters. So this team still does the job, in my opinion. It kind of draws out any sort of Imperial Trooper teams. And then finally, I'm using Grey on defense as well. Obviously, with 2 droids in there, hopefully we can get a jump start on the enemy with all the bonus turn meter. And then Rey can land healing immunity on somebody, and again, preventing you max banners pretty much every single time, especially in free. Rey in free on offense, you know, she can do some work, but because you have only 3 characters, you very rarely get to the Illuminated Destiny, so I just like to put her on defense. But we do have a stealth feat coming up, so maybe whenever we do have stealth feat, I might actually keep this team for offense, just that, you know, we can get with R2 stealth a couple of times. So these are all my defensive teams here. I'm in Division 2, so this is how many teams I have to put on defense. So let's just now move on to the defensive side of things. Now, I used to put my Night Sister on defense. However, from my experience in the past season, pretty much all my opponents have Kenobi, have Commander Ahsoka Tano. So if they do put that on defense, Commander Ahsoka Tano with either Kenobi or Rey, I'm thinking I could try and cheese it there with Zombie and Daka and Supreme Kylo. That's why I kept them there with Kylo. If not, you know, this team could be as well. I do put it sometimes on defense. Depends on, you know, my opponent a little bit. If not, for now, as a baseline, this is there, so I'm able to cheese any sort of Commander Ahsoka Tano team my opponent might put on defense. And then we got the leftover First Order squad here with 2 Kylos and First Order Executioner. Now this team is, because both Kylos are immune to health percentage based damage, so usually this team would be good against any sort of clone team with Rex, because aerial advantage won't do anything to them, and First Order Executioner kind of helps the turn meter tree going. Okay, and then we've got here my Rey team. Now Rey, I would many cases, you know, solo somebody or using Rey mirror matches, but probably most likely people will be putting Rey with Cat on defense. I'm not sure yet how I will handle that, but for now, Rey, with Holden Scavenger, that's just kind of like a baseline team that I have. Up next, we got Jedi Master Luke. Now in 3v3, Jedi Master Luke lead is not all that good because we know with 2 less characters you will struggle to get to the ultimate, so I just prefer to use Jedi Knight Luke lead. Now both Lukes, they can handle most of the teams by themselves. You don't really need a third character, but in case I do, I'm just putting Ala in there for now. Moving on, we got a standard Jedi Knight Revan team with Yoda and Jolie. This team can handle pretty much anything that's not a galactic legend or Darth Revan or GAC, so it's a very versatile team. And then kind of a leftover Jedi here. Now often in Rey mirror matches I would actually use Bastila with Hermit Yoda with Rey. If that's not the case, then this team is still pretty good. Maybe against some teams like Hux, they've got a lot, because you start with bonus protection, lots of bonus protection from Bastila lead, so it still allows you to take out somebody like Hux team and still end up with full banners. So definitely Bastila is good. Also, instead of Ezra, an option could be as well Wampa sometimes, but now I do have Ezra Relict. I think he's a good option to slot in there because he's a Jedi. Moving on here, and this is where I use the rest of my clones with Shakti. Now if my opponent would put maybe somebody like Kylo, Daka, Zombie, Cheese defense team, then Shakti would actually join the Jedi Master Luke team, and then these 2 clones would kind of be left over on the side to maybe use with somebody else. But if not, this is a solid team that can do a lot of damage. With Shakti, you've got a lot of healing, Arc Trooper and his turret dispels buffs, and obviously Rex, once he builds up his aero advantage, can take out a lot of characters. Alright, moving here, Palpatine and Watt. For now, this is a perfect combo because Weapon Tech will still ignore defense, but whenever that change is coming to Watt's on board, and I'm not sure what Watt's place will be in the end because his weapon tech won't be as nearly useful as it is now, nearly as versatile as it now. But at least this team is good versus like any sort of revive teams because weapon tech, even after a change, will still prevent revives. So any sort of Night Sister team or Mon Mothma team, anything like that, this team will do plenty of damage. And then you got Sith Eternal Emperor. In a lot of cases, Sith Eternal Emperor would actually be joined by Watt if I need to take out Rey that's not modded for offense. If not, Sith Eternal, he can solo a lot of teams. But if you do need some support there, I do have Sith Empire Trooper and Savage there just to take a couple of hits. Maybe if I would go up against Jedi Master Luke or something and I don't have Watt available, just a couple of Sith there to take punches. And we're coming now to the Trooper lineup. Now troopers are quite versatile, but in free like used together, they can take out a lot of teams. Even if I would swap Gideon in there, we could even take out some of the Rey teams and things like that. But in most cases, this team will take out a Fiend team with resistance heroes because a lot of people put that on defense. And it's kind of like a leftover Empire team here. So this team is good versus maybe some of the fast teams because Moff Gideon can, with his control situation, can remove turn meter. Thrawn can fracture somebody, Wampa can start doing some big hits and things like that, so we'll see how it will go. I even put now second Zeta on Wampa so he can apply healing immunity, so maybe if I need to deal with any sort of pesky bounty hunter squads, they won't be able to recover protection. Moving on, now this is my Mon Mothma team. I'm still trying to learn how to counter Grievous teams with this Mon Mothma team. In the previous season I had a couple of goes. I think I won 1 out of 3, but I was still learning because Grievous is one of those teams that kind of you don't really want to use your best teams on him, on the Grievous team, because you want to save your best for Galactic Legends and things like that. So if I can get consistent wins in 3-3 with this Mon Mothma team, I think that will be a great success. Then you got Han, Chewbacca. I like to use Obi-Wan there. I mean, there are other options. Many people like to use Wedge. The reason why I like to use Obi-Wan myself is because of his mind tricks. He can push back turn meter and things like that. But any sort, Wedge would work there. You can even use Boba as well, if because his leadership will give them extra critical damage and things like that. But I have no other use, I think, for Kenobi, so I just use him there, which is great. And I got some sort of, I just recently actually relicked up my best card, Mandalorian. Kara there, I have her for 5v5 Mon Mothma team, but in 3-3, maybe this team can do some damage. I don't know. Obviously, we got a pre-taunt there. Kara can remove Terminator. She's taunting as well. So hopefully, this kind of gives Beskar Mando some chance to get his Whistling Birds out. Like at Relic 3, I think he does about 10,000 damage for each Whistling Bird. So, you know, I'm not sure how useful he will be. I'll give it a go. I don't have IG and Quill at all leveled up. They're still gear 8, so this is what I'll try and use with my Beskar Mandalorian for now on offense. And this team here, obviously, Talzin, this one sometimes could be used on defense whenever I do need to bring in Rey or Maul into the offensive lineup for the feats. Then this Talzin team will go on defense. Otherwise, you know, Night Sisters, you can cheese through a lot of teams but you know, it's not going to be a high banner win. You have no way of recovering protection. But as the, you know, the kind of secondary teams here, Talzin and some sort of boss team, they could still be good for some sort of, you know, gear 12 squad or something like that. So that's it, guys. These are all my teams I have kind of set up here for the upcoming season. I mean, I still have lots of kind of leftover characters here that can slot in certain situations. So there is some flexibility here because of all these Galactic Legend and Executor requirements. You know, we got a lot of relic characters now that they never get used at all. But, you know, themselves, these characters can't really do much. So it's just a case of having some extra flexibility on offense if my opponent does put our teams on defense. Alright guys, this is all for today's video. I hope you find it useful showing you how I'm planning to approach the defensive and offensive teams for the upcoming season. As the rounds go along, I usually make some adjustments as I see, for example, if there are certain teams I never use on offense, then I see, oh, can I actually make them better use on defense? Or if there are some teams that just don't perform well at all on defense, and then I would swap on offense. But as a baseline, this is what I'll start off with week 1. I mean, to be honest, week 1 is always a bit of a rough one, especially in 3v3, because it's been like, you know what, almost 2 months when we last time played 3v3, so it's always kind of trying to remember what to do, how things work out. So always, especially in the first week, I like to go a little bit lighter on defense, just to make sure I full clear every single round. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, have fun, enjoy life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.